I'd like to invite Gurpreet Singh Anand, President of Central Gurdwara Khalsa Jatha, Shepherd's Bush, London. Take it away, Paji.
Thank you everyone for joining us today, and Sat Sri Akal Ji and Vaj Khalsa Vaj Fateh Ji. I'd like to talk a little bit about our experiences at the Khalsa Jatha British Isles. We are the oldest Gurdwara in the UK and in Europe. I'm going to start off with something that happened to us in July last year. We found ourselves flooded, causing tens of thousands of pounds of damage, something we've never experienced in our entire history. We're an organization spanning back many decades, been around since 1908. And for the first time in our history, we found our Lunga Hall was under 2 feet of water, flood water. A freak event or something that we're going to start seeing more often due to climate change? That's a question which I think we've all got to be asking, that climate change is real. It's impacting, it's causing problems. As a Gurdwara, some years ago, we decided that we needed to look at our environmental footprint, how we're operating, the impact we're having, and the changes that we can make to reduce our impact and to change the balance. So quite often these things start off with one thing, then they go to another, because you need to have an ethos of that it cannot just be one action alone. It's going to be a result of many actions. We started off with solar panels on the roof, which have the ability to take care of most of our electricity needs. We're now looking to add battery storage to that, so the solar power generated during the day gets used in the evening also, and to literally try and make, at least for energy usage, if we can make ourselves off-grid. That way, we want to be a contributor to the grid, not someone taking power from the grid. Great in some ways, we won't be paying energy bills, but the advantage is that it starts to change the way we work. Then the next thing we've been looking at is our reliance on gas. We use gas at the moment for heating our building and for cooking. And we've been taking a look at how can we change the way we cook, the items we use, to reduce our dependence on gas, move it on to electricity. And also one of the unexpected benefits of one of the technologies we're looking at, it would actually reduce water usage, which comes out of washing these large pans that we use for cooking. So there are ways out there which places of worship can use to reduce their carbon footprint and the footprint on usage of things like water, gas, electricity. Another thing that we're looking at, which we want to implement, is how can we gather rainwater, store it, and use that for our toilets. So instead of using fresh drinking water from the mains, that we're starting to use brown water to be flushing the toilets, and reducing again the amount of water we draw upon. We're also looking at that for the heating. Can we start to implement heat pump technology and ground source heat pumps, where to again wean our reliance off gas, which is essentially we're just burning carbons. So we're looking at ways we can do that. But why do this all in a Gurdwara? What's the advantage of it all? The advantage is that the Gurdwara, in a way, people, when they come to it, in our belief system, they're coming to their parents' house. That we have a belief system that this is the home of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Mata Sahib Deva Ji. So if you're coming to your parents' house and you're seeing at your parents' house these things being done to change to where environment matters, where ecology matters, you will start to look at what can you be doing in your own home. as a person that you know, in your own household, how are you going to reduce your reliance on hydrocarbons? How are you going to reduce your reliance on plastics and many other ways? What can you do to make changes? So it's like a fractal, that the expectation is that this change starts to flow through into the congregation. Another change we made, most Gurdwaras used to do fireworks on Bandi Chor Divas and Diwali. We stopped doing that. It actually felt really painful. It feels like you're taking a wad of £50 notes and putting a match to them, which again isn't environmentally friendly either, but that's what fireworks are. You're burning money. They are necessary. So we just had the frank discussion with our congregation that we need to step away from this. It's the right thing to do. And when you have those frank discussions, people tend to agree. They say, actually, you're right. You know, we could put that money to better use. We can feed people who are hungry with that money rather than burning it. And we can do other things, and we're having less impact on the environment. From a Gurdwara perspective, one thing is clear. We got to have the environment and ecology as part of our DNA. It can't be something that is forgotten about, or yes, I'm here today, I'm aware, but the next guy might not be. You know, it's got to be part of everyone's DNA, that there's this constant review of everything you're doing. Is it eco-friendly? What's the impact it's going to have? There needs to be this constant thing. It's got to be part of your thought process, that you are reviewing what you do and what the impact it has. Once you seek out that constant awareness within yourself, and you know, you make ecology and the environment and protecting that as part of your DNA, that naturally leads to the creation of awareness, because this isn't something that people will not notice. They do notice. They do notice that you're working in a very different way. You're doing things in a different way. You're planning in a different way. And they start to take those on board for themselves too. And that leads to the spread of people being, you know, that DNA not just being in the management of a place of worship, but within the congregation. And that's where the wider effect starts to happen. And we need to see that wider effect. Last year, July, you know, we were underwater, and it's been a wake-up call for us. And I thought we were already awake, but it needs to be a wake-up call for everyone, that things are changing and we need to start to reverse that.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paji. That was a great kind of insight to what you as a Gurdwara are doing. And I think it's important to you know, make sure our Gurdwara send out the message, the environmental message, the Pavan Guru Pani Pita message to the, you know, to our congregation, to get them on board. And obviously things like fireworks, where we can move away from it. And you're right, you know, we are literally, it's, you know, £50 worth of nothing, you're just literally lighting it up. That's what you're doing. Where, you know, you have got alternatives, and that's one of the things Eco-Sikh UK has been concentrating on, is, you know, bringing in these laser lights and, you know, lighting up buildings. So there are alternative ways to enjoy the festival at the same time, and obviously protect the environment. Thank you very much for your time today.